Hello everyone out there, this is Shane Walton here bringing you another guitar review. Now when it comes to cheap guitars in America, you probably think of Glarry or Donner, maybe Harley Benton. But in Japan, what is the cheapest guitar you can get in Japan? Well, in Japan, the guitar I think that is the cheapest and best value is a brand called Playtech. Now Playtech is a brand that's sold through the online distributor Soundhouse, a Japanese guitar store that basically buys guitars that they don't sell in Japan and sells it to the Japanese market. What seems to be kind of their in-house brand is this brand called Playtech, which I believe is the cheapest guitar you can get on the Japanese market. Now this guitar cost me 9,580 yen, which if you translate into American dollars, it's 62 bucks. 62 bucks for this, okay? And what did I get? I got a Strat with this beautiful purple finish on it. Now Playtech's kind of a special thing about them is that they sell cheap guitars, but usually when you sell cheap guitars, you think it would be like a black Strat or a Sunburst Strat. They sell cheap guitars that have just a wide variety of colors on them. Like you have this purple here. You can get a seafoam green, you can get a bright yellow, a bright pink, a bright red, a bright orange, whole rainbow of colors out there for really good prices. Now for lefties like me, all you get is the Strat kind. However, if you're a righty, they have a T-style, they have a V's, and these V's are only like $120 each, and they're bright pink and bright orange, bright yellow. And their most expensive guitar is their hollow body, which I think runs about, in American dollars, maybe 200 bucks. What kind of guitar do you get for this? Well, just taking a quick look at this. The paint job is all solid, one color. There's no cracks. There's no bad paint bleeding or anything like that. Just one nice solid color here. The neck, I got the, you can get a rosewood, but I got a maple neck because I just don't have any maple necks. Okay. The headstock is, well, it's nondescript. The logo is just kind of black. You could probably sand that off in like 2 minutes if you wanted to. Just make it like a like a parts caster type of no-name guitar. Tuners are kind of your standard little tuners. Nothing to write home about there. The nut is very thin, probably plastic, I assume. Okay, kind of an off-white type color. The frets are all a fairly good size, you know, they don't seem like really thin and tall. They're not, of course, jumbo, of course, maybe a kind of a medium-sized frets. There's 22 of them here, okay. So these are the frets, they're kind of medium-sized, nothing to write home about. The fretboard is not rounded off, so it's a little bit hard on that, but you know, rounding it off, you had a little bit of sandpaper, it wouldn't take you too long to do that. The pickups are these white single coil ones. One reason I picked it up because I don't have any single coil guitars, and I didn't mind them when I was hearing them. And, you know, it's a playable sound. I'm not sure if it's that's not fourth generation Fender noiseless, but they're a playable sound. Okay. The trim is decked to the body, so you can only go down, you can't go up on it. And it's fairly stiff. You know, maybe if you go in the back, take off a spring or two, and it might be good. The switch is, of course, your usual nondescript switch, works, and the pots are, you know, turn as it, the knot one was turns as it was. So for the money, you know, for 62 bucks, you know, I just kind of wanted to try out a Strat, an SSS Strat, didn't have one. I thought I might use it as a mod project. What I am going to do with this guitar, it's my first mod here, was I'm going to put it on a green pickguard. I kind of like how green and purple go together. So while I take off the pickguard, we can take a look at what the pickups are. Other modifications I might do on it here, the tuners, I might change out the tuners. They're all in line, they seem to be put in well. I only change tuners when I feel there's a problem. You know, if it's really loose or it gets too tight or something, then maybe it's time to change the tuners. But if they're working, well, why not let them work? The nut is, right now not giving any trouble. It looks like it's got a couple, it could have been cut a little bit better though. So that might be something to put in like a cheap Graphtec or bone nut. You know, it's what, 10 bucks, 15 bucks to put in, not too bad. Okay. The neck itself, the The frets themselves are not scratchy, like they're scratchy. They're well nice. They're smooth. Of course, they're not, you know, like well crowned or anything like that. There's no fret sprouts at the moment. Of course, this is Japan, and Japan doesn't have that much fret sprout to begin with. So, what kind of setup does a cheap guitar like this come in Japan? Well, actually, the height is not so bad on it. It's a little bit over a millimeter, 1.5 millimeters, which is kind of what I like to play anyways. The intonation, the high E and high B string were on. The other lower strings were a little bit sharp. It does come with an adjustment tool, and this kind of a bridge is really easy to adjust the intonation. The strap buttons at the moment are solid, not wobbly or undone, so it's pretty good. It's made in China, of course, and you know, the neck is straight. It's not too chunky or thick. Seems just right. It's not the thinnest neck in the world. It's not like my Schecter, but you know, it's playable. Probably just like to round off the sides a little bit on the fretboard. The trim, you know, it doesn't cut me in at all. The trim block. I'm going to keep it for a while. I might put in like a Vega trim or a Hipshot trim in there someday if that strikes me fancy. So, you know, if you ever travel to Japan and you need something to go off, try to find a Playtech. You can find them on some of the pawn shops as well. There's one going for about 30 bucks just nearby my house here, about two-minute drive. That's actually a Telecaster, offset looking Telecaster design. So it's got kind of cute design. So you know, in Japan you're looking for a cheap guitar, a little pizzazz. Why not try out the Playtech off of soundhouseon.com. Anyways, ladies, that's just... Anyways, fellow guitarists, it's just a quick little show of what I think is the cheapest guitar you can get in Japan. Of course, so if next time you come to Japan, try one out. Salut.